Okay, hello everybody. This is lesson number 56. Even the masters have masters. Um, this is important. It's kind of an idea of being a lifelong learner. When you're starting out with some skill, doesn't matter what it is, could be wrestling, jujitsu, writing, mathematics, whatever. We all remember that time where we're trying to learn something to get better at it. As you start to get better, you have two problems. First thing is, when you start to learn something, everyone's better at it than you are. So there's teachers everywhere. And so it's easy to find a teacher. It's easy to find someone that can help you and knows more than you and can give you some advice. As you start to get better and better at something, there's less people that are good at it. And as you get really good at something, there's dang few people that know more than you. So there's two problems. One is it's hard to find a teacher as you get better at something. And the other thing is you might get satisfied, complacent, arrogant, smug, any of those things. I would challenge you. It's as important to get better at something when you're really good at it as it is to get basically good at something when you're horrible at it. It's a lot harder. Even the masters have masters. Don't there's we have this unfortunately there's this mindset of, oh, I'm a master at kung fu and I know it all. Every time you learn something, you should realize that there's more than you know. I love the phrase Albert Einstein supposedly said, "Whatever your problems are in mathematics, I assure you, mine are even greater." And what he meant by that was, you might know this much math, and you're aware of this much math you don't know, so you think there's this much you don't know. Whereas Albert Einstein maybe knew this much math, but I could go to the ceiling. There was that much he was aware of that he knew he didn't know. So it's a kind of an example of the more you learn, the less you know. The better you get at something, the more you realize, wow, I don't know much about it at all. The greatest artists, I'm sure Michelangelo, when he was sculpting in marble, thought of all how how many things he got wrong. Somebody else would look at it and think he's the master. So have that mindset in your life that there's not a limit, and if you're really good at something, there you would that should happen naturally. When people think, I really get frustrated. There'll be some PhDs that say, "Oh, I'm an expert in this field." That shows they don't know much about it. As someone gets really good at something, I'm sure they see more flaw. Floyd Mayweather with boxing, I'm sure says, "Wow, I could be this much better. My defense could be that much better." Um, the greatest, you know, um, whoever Tom Brady, I've said, "Oh, I missed that pass. I missed that. I could have been so much better." Whoever is doing Tiger Woods, I'm sure thinks there are sees more flaws in his golf game than an amateur golfer does in his golf game. The supermodel, and I do know this, the supermodel who's on a magazine cover will see more fat and more imperfections and more flaws in her than a regular looking girl. So understand that even the masters have masters. Seek out and understand in your art what where it's going, and strive to be better if you want. I guess if you don't want to get any better, that's one thing. If you want to go to a level of, let's say there's 100 out of 100, and say you get to 90%, and that's where you top out at, and that's where you want to stop at. That's Well, admit that, but don't say you're 100% because no one is. Um, even Secretariat wasn't 100% in thoroughbred racehorsing, although that might get some angry comments. So understand that even the masters have masters. That's William Blake, I think, was said. Even to be in a passion you good may do, but no good if the passion be in you. The art is greater than the artist, and when you're seeking your art, your skill, if it's at, that you're not the end point in it yet. So kind of understand that. And seek out. You should have if you have a sparring partner and they can't hit you, well, you got the wrong sparring partner. If you're not getting tapped out when you're practicing your jiu-jitsu, you're not doing well. And put yourself in a bad position. I'll go with someone who maybe couldn't put me in a position to tap me out, and I'll put myself in that position so that I get tapped out and I learn to fight through it. Don't keep exercising your ego. Don't be satisfied, and push yourself. Try to get better. The art is greater than the artist. Even the masters have masters. Always seek out something, and that gets difficult as you get better at things. If you're a great sculptor and there might be someone that really can't teach you much, you might have to try to learn a lot on your own. If you're a great swimmer or a great sailor, but always be open to that. I think it was supposedly Sugar Ray Robinson said, "Yeah, I watched some of the 3-round fighters in the gym, and you'll never know when one of them will do something that you never thought of before." So always seek out an expert, a master to make you better. Always seek out a teacher. One saying, "When the student is ready, the teacher will appear." You should always be a ready student, and you should make everything, every situation, everyone your teacher. There was a wrestler last night, and he had hurt his back, pulled a muscle, and I said, "Don't practice, just watch." I said, "Walk around this room and watch everybody in every position when we're going, and you'll see something that'll click to you." So anyway, hope this helps somebody. Thanks a lot.